welcome back to my channel. I hope you have all had a wonderful day. So it's been a hot minute since I actually properly sat down and filmed stuff. Some of the content that has gone up recently I filmed a while ago, but I'm here to talk about my favourite thing, which is books. So I am going to be doing my October reading wrap up and my November TBR in this one video, because the books I read in October weren't very many. So I plan to read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I plan to read 5 books with 2 books that I was going to read across October and November. And I read 3 and a bit. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about them. So the first one I had on my TBR list was Heir of Fire, which is the third book. I think it's the third one. Is it the third one? I don't know. I think it's the third one. Yeah, it's the third one in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J Maas. I have been reading this in collaboration with my lovely friend Nikki. We were a bit out of sync on reading this one because I was due to go on holiday and she had some bits going on, so we were a little bit out of sync reading it, but I absolutely loved it. I loved where it went. I wasn't expecting it to, considering in Crown of Midnight there's like a moment where my 2 favourite peeps just, and I was like, oh, I'm never going to recover. It's I don't know if I can do it. And then something happens, and oh, it's just the excitement, the ending. Oh my gosh. I was on a plane when I finished this, and had to stop myself from going, oh my god, because I didn't want to scare the shit out of anyone on the plane. But the ending was incredible, and I can't wait to read the next one. So yes, I gave this one 5 stars. So there's that. Next up, I plan to read Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. Didn't get to it. I started, today is the 30th of October. You're going to see this video the 5th or 6th of November, and I started it. I've read a page. That's all I've got into. So yeah, I didn't get to it. Next up was Laura Stevens' The Society for Soulless Girls. I was really excited about getting to that one, and I just didn't manage it. So unfortunately, yeah, I didn't get to that. Caroline Graham's Death in Disguise. Didn't get to it. Really wanted to, just didn't. I took a long time reading the books I read this month. I think I struggled having more than one on the go, so I really just scaled it back and read one at a time. And that seemed to work with my brain this month. So yeah, there's that. I was meant to read Stephen King's The Body, which was 200 pages, and I've read it. It was really good. There were parts of it that I didn't remember happening, and parts of it that I know for a fact don't happen in the film. So that was quite interesting to kind of have that comparison. I think I am going to rewatch the film if I can get a hold of it from somewhere. I think my dad might have it on DVD, but I'll have to look into it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. There were parts of it I didn't enjoy, like some of the language that Stephen King uses, I struggle with. I find it a bit rude, I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, there were some words, some sort of phrases in here that I didn't particularly like, but it's Stephen King's writing. You either love it or you hate it, and I'm kind of in the middle. Generally, I love it, but there are moments that I'm just like, yeah, I didn't like that bit. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. Would like to watch the film. Next up, I had on my, so they were the 5. They were the 5 that I was meant to read. I was meant to read half of the Haunted House Stories Mammoth book. I read 4 stories, and honestly, I couldn't get into any of them. I was reading them and I was like, yeah, this is just not really going anywhere for me. The language that the authors have chosen to write their stories is kind of very oldie-woldy kind of language, which generally is fine, but I just couldn't get on board with it. I didn't feel interested in any of the 4 stories I read, so I'm just going to declutter it, and I'm okay with that. So there's that. And then obviously I was meant to read Stephen King's It. I was meant to read about 500 pages of it, and I didn't kind of make that, let's be honest. I tried really hard, but it is over 1,000 pages, and it is very descriptive, very information dumpy, and if I'm honest, I've just done my best with it. I'm reading it, and that's fine. I didn't quite manage to read as much of it as I wanted to, but I am continuing with it. And then the last book that I said I read 4 books, didn't I? No, I didn't. Did I? 3.5. I have 3.5. The last book I read was not on my list, but it was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. So I was on holiday when I picked this up, and I was going to take the physical book with me, and then I thought, oh no, Air or Fire will keep me going for a while, and I finished it a lot quicker than I was expecting to. So Libby had this on their app, so I downloaded it. And yeah, it took me a while to read it. It's only 370 pages. But I really took my time with it. I do love a romance, and this one I really, really enjoyed, but I didn't feel like I needed to page turn it all the time until sort of the last 200 pages maybe. So it did take me a little bit longer. But I just haven't been in the reading mood lately. I don't know why. I've been sort of going back towards watching TV stuff, which I go through stages of watching loads and then not watching any. So when I'm in those stages, books take a bit of a back seat. But I did really love it. It follows Nora and Charlie, who both work in the book world, and their lives become entangled in a small town. And yeah, it ended the way I wanted it to. Not quite what I expected in terms of like revealing points that I was waiting for the big, this is what's happened. I didn't see them coming, so that was good. I didn't kind of anticipate the moments, which was great. And yeah, it ended exactly how I wanted it to and how I needed it to, not to launch it across the room in pure anger. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. It wasn't a 5-star for me. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe it would be on a reread. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And there was some steam in here, which I enjoyed. So yeah, that was it. So I gave it 4 stars. So yeah, I read 3 books with sort of some of it. So it's not really a half. It's more of like a 3.2. Yeah, I just wasn't in the fast-paced reading movement this month. So yeah, I read 3 and a bit, so that's fine by me. I have decluttered that Haunted House Stories because I just thought it was crap. I'm not gonna lie. I think somebody else might really enjoy it, but for me, it was crap. And I'm okay with that. Right, moving on to my November TBR. Now, this is very, very ambitious. Let me just put that out there. I think I'm setting myself up for failure here. However, we're going to do it anyway. So I am continuing on with Stephen King's It. I don't know if I will finish it in November like I planned, but I'm kind of just hoping to finish it by the end of the year. So I have about 800 pages left of that one. And then basically this TBR is the catch-up TBR. The TBR that has all the books that I did not finish in the last like 6 months, I want to say. There are some books that I put back on my shelves when I didn't finish them in a TBR month, but these ones are the ones that have been sat on my TBR shelf for a good, 4, 5, maybe 6 months. So yeah, we're going to get into it. But the first one I have that I want to talk about is Queen of Shadows, which is the 4th book by Sarah J Maas. I am very excited about this. Me and Nikki are buddy reading it. It's a chonker. It is 650 pages, give or take. And I'm very excited to see where it goes. So yes, this is the book that I definitely will be reading above all others. So there's that one. Next up are just books that I would ideally like to finish. Some of them I started, some of them I'm halfway through, some of them I'm just going to start from the beginning. Some I never actually started. So yeah, let's just get into it. So the first one I have is Baby Love by Jacqueline Wilson. This follows Laura, and I'm under the impression that she gets pregnant, and it's about her life coping with teenage pregnancy in a time where teenage pregnancy wasn't the done thing. I would really like to get to all of these, but it is very ambitious and I'm not holding out much hope. So it is just a really laid back, these are the books that I have put on here that I would ideally like to finish before the end of the month, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So yeah, so there's Baby Love by Jacqueline Wilson, The Paris Connection by Lorraine Brown, Hannah and Sire in Love, and then their train divides on the way to a wedding. Hannah makes up in Paris the following day and realises that her boyfriend and her ticket are 300 miles away in Amsterdam. Hannah meets Leo on the station and he's everything Sai isn't. So we'll see where that one goes. The Bright Places, All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I did want to read this before I watched the film, but let's see. Theodore Finch wants to take his own life. Violet Markey is devastated by her sister's death. They meet on the ledge of the school bell tower, and so their story begins. It's only together they can be themselves. But as Violet's world grows, Finch's begins to shrink. How far will Violet go to save the boy she has come to love? I think this one's going to be a sad one. I'm not going to lie. I think it's going to be a sad one. So yeah, there's that. I apologise about the lighting. I'm kind of going with a bit of natural lighting and a bit of artificial. Next up, I actually only have this much left of this book. It's November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I was reading this one on my phone and I didn't read it in time for the library app, so it got sent back. But I momentarily gave up on this one because it just, it made me so angry. There's a part in it that just infuriated me to my core. So I haven't actually picked it up since that point, but I am hoping to finish it. I need to just accept the annoyance and move on. It's nothing about her writing or anything like that. It's purely a plot point. I can't get decent lighting. Yeah, it's purely a plot point, and I just, it made me so angry. So I am hoping to finish it, but who knows. Next up is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is by the lady that wrote, oh my gosh, why has it gone out of my brain? It's on the front, The Hating Game. And I absolutely love that book, so I really wanted to get to this one. But it's about Ruthie and Teddy who work in an old people's retirement village, and stuff happens as far as I'm aware. Next up, I have Message in a Bottle by Nicholas Sparks. When journalist Teresa Osborne finds the desperate message washed up on Cape Cod Beach, it raises questions that intrigue her. Who is the author, and who is Catherine, and what is it that's torn them apart? So yeah, it's a bit of a romance. Nicholas Sparks loves romance, doesn't he? So yeah, there's that one. And then on to the ones that I didn't get to in October. So I have Death in Disguise by Caroline Graham. I have The Society for Soulless Girls by Laura Stephen. I have Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. And lastly, I have Get Alive, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. All of these I have all good intentions of reading. We shall see. I don't know how I'm going to get on, honestly. We could get to the end of November and I come and say, I didn't read any of them apart from Queen of Shadows, which is my buddy read. I'm hoping to get through a few. I've got a couple of days booked holiday at the end of November where I plan on just sitting on my ass and doing nothing but reading. So yeah. I need to make sure I make a bit more time for it, because even if it's just 50 pages a day of whatever, I would be happy with that, because some days I go without reading at all and I feel like I shouldn't. So So yeah, they are all the books I plan to read. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, one of them, no, it's just 11. I counted the book I'm decluttering. So yeah, it's 11 books. So it's a very ambitious TBR, considering my average is about 5 or 6, and last month was 3. I do have 12 if you count Stephen King's It, which I'm not sure we'll finish that one. But yeah, it's a lot of books. But if there are any you recommend that I really read, then let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, wish me luck. I say this as a catch-up TBR because in December I plan on solely reading Christmas books. There is going to be a TBR video for that coming very soon, but this is the last month that I plan on reading any of those in that stack. If I don't manage to finish them, they are just going to go back onto my shelf and we will investigate them again maybe next year. But yes, they will be leaving my TBR shelf because looking at them is making me feel stressed. So yeah, the plan is just to read as many as I can, see what happens, and go from there. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this update and this TBR video that's kind of been mushed together. I am having a lot of thoughts and plans and ideas for next year, so my kind of updates are going to be quite whimsical and sporadic, which is what they have been. But yeah, stick with me and wish me luck for this huge TBR. But yeah, take care, look after yourselves, and I will see you soon.